3 billion human lives ended on August 29, 1997. The survivors of the nuclear fire called the war Judgment Day. They lived only to face a new nightmare, the war against the machines.
Holy shit, thank God Linda Hamilton was wrong about that date. What's up everybody and welcome to another edition of AGR's Pop Culture Reviews. Cyberdyne Systems model T-800 was always my favorite Terminator. The original Terminator film was definitely ahead of its time, and although critics panned it as being excessively violent, there was a lot of substance there that is only now being appreciated. Its bleak message about the rise of artificial intelligence and the nature of man to destroy one another definitely hit a nerve with audiences, which is to say nothing about the military's flirtation with automation and the rise of nuclear proliferation. And yes, I know that some of the sequels haven't been great, but you have to admit, the design of the Terminators are friggin' awesome. So today we're going to be reviewing Hot Toys Terminator Genisys Endoskeleton 1/6 scale figure. Let's take a closer look. First, let me start by saying that guys, this is an absolutely breathtaking piece. Now, I own the quarter scale Terminator and it is beautiful, but I have to say, the smaller version, for some reason, it's so compact and it looks awesome. Just take a look at that beautiful head sculpt, guys. That is incredible. Look at all the detail there. I absolutely love it. It is gorgeous. And look at the detail in the teeth. It just looks awesome. I'm also pretty jones that I have an endoskeleton that matches the rest of the 1/6 scale figures that do have the skin on them. Now, if you thought the head sculpt was impressive on this piece, just take a look at the upper torso, or what they call the combat chassis. This is exquisite, guys. You see all the servos, the motors, the pistons, all the joints, everything that makes this Terminator move like a human. I also like the fact that they didn't go too clean with this Terminator. There's a lot of carbon scarring, a lot of soot and grime on it, which makes it look more realistic. Now, I'm going to focus a little bit on the forearm because it is something very interesting. Now, when you remove the hands from this figure, it's a two-part process. If you'll notice, there's kind of a tri-bar of pistons right at the forearm that connect into the actual hand. First, you need to pull out the hand and then put in those pistons in these individual slots, which adds for a little bit more security. And also, when you're moving the arms, it looks like those pistons are going back and forth and moving in a very nice rotation. It looks awesome, guys, and in terms of articulation, it does make it look that much more organic. Now, the legs on this piece are also very impressive, mostly because they're so skinny, yet you know how powerful they are. Those pistons, the servos, and the joints, especially in the knees, are awesome, and amazingly, it's actually very articulate. You can move the legs in such a way where you can get some really great poses, so I gotta give him props for that. That is a really nice design choice, and of course it comes with a standard crotch grabber, which makes it a little bit more fluid, which is pretty awesome. And you gotta love the paint job on that nice high silver, which looks like alloy. The feet on this endoskeleton are also very impressive, mostly because you see the individual joints and you also see the little servos moving those individual toes, which is really awesome. The ball joint in the back looks really great, and again, they can move very fluidly because of the fact that they have those nice little joints. It looks really great, guys. Most impressively, just look at the pistons where the calves are. That's actually really cool. Overall, this is a really well done job. Then of course we have the Terminator's beautifully designed weapon of mass destruction. I don't know what the hell this thing is called. It's probably a plasma cannon of some kind, but it is absolutely stunning. The detail here is fantastic. I definitely love the gunmetal finish, and take a look at that blue kind of like railgun thing, whatever the hell that is. It looks absolutely stunning. The red accents look great, lots of carbon scarring here, and I especially like the burn finishes on it. It just looks great. Awesome touches here are done so well, and it is so long. It's almost half the size of the entire Terminator. This is really well done, guys. It's just a cool weapon. Now, this might be a first for the show, but this is probably the first character that isn't a Bishojo statue, or it isn't a Marvel female character, that I'm asking you to actually mirror, because it's absolutely beautiful. Just take a look at all the detail on the reverse side of this Terminator. It is absolutely awesome. The head sculpt looks fantastic, especially the shoulder blades. You can really tell a lot of detail. It's very reflective, but where it really shines is definitely in the vertebra. Just take a look at how exquisitely that was done. The sheer level of engineering that went into this piece is actually quite brilliant, and it really shows you biomechanically how these Terminators are able to move exactly like humans, and this thing is just breathtaking, guys. So definitely mirror this piece. It deserves it. Now the base for this piece is actually pretty standard and really doesn't differentiate too much from the rest of the line. It's done in that very high industrial factory type style, which is not necessarily a bad thing. On the reverse side of this piece, there is a slot for you to insert some batteries because the two lights up front do light up, so that's a really cool feature. The only problem I've had with previous models is that the lights are not nearly bright enough, so in a sense it makes them kind of non-functional. But overall we have the option. Then of course on the lip of the base we have that nice plaque that reads Terminator Genisys and the name of the character, which is simply the Endoskeleton. Now this piece doesn't come with too many accessories. It really only comes with 4 additional hands for various poses, one to kind of stand more epic and the other one to hold the weapon, but that's essentially it. Thankfully Hot Toys provided us with a battery for the light up feature in the eyes, which is fantastic, so you don't have to go around town looking for these things. And finally, rounding out the last bit of accessories, if we can really call it that, is the actual manual, which all Hot Toys figures has, but it also has the additional pistons for when you change out the hands, which is pretty interesting. I'm glad that they include them just in case you lose the set, because I could see how people could lose them because they're so small. Now here's the deal with this piece, guys. It is beautiful, it is well sculpted, it is incredibly detailed, but the only real drawback for this piece, no die cast. And I understand why they did it because they wanted to keep the cost down, but still, this piece does feel really flimsy and it's very plasticky. If you drop this, it is gonna break. Despite that, however, I can still recommend this piece because it is relatively priced considering other Hot Toys and you don't get nearly as much detail. Now before I go, I just want to thank the folks over at Sideshow Collectibles for sending this wonderful piece over for review. Alright everybody, so that's my official review on Hot Toys Terminator Genisys Endoskeleton 1/6 scale figure. As always, I thank you for tuning in and I'll see you on the next AGR's Pop Culture Reviews. You know something, I would give anything in the world right now to be able to jerry-rig some T-800s and march them into Nicaragua and sick them on that thug Ortega. I'm just saying.